Now, some Republican lawmakers are also blasting the White House decision to suspend public tours, and they are going directly to President Obama for answers. Senator John Barrasso joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
And you were on the floor last night, I should add, helping out Senator Rand Paul last night as an aside.
I was there for the last 3 3/4 hours, and I think he did a remarkable job, and he deserved answers, and he finally got them.
Indeed, he did get them today. All right, now, you're part of a group that sent a letter to the White House about the tour. What did you say, and why did you do it?
Well, I've been having to call families my staff has in Wyoming, who are planning to come here, families for their spring break. Some of these, it's a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They want to see the White House, the people's house, and the president, to me, appears very petty in making this decision to close the White House. It seems that if you're not well-connected or well-off, you're not welcome in the White House these days. The American people deserve better. This is really, though, focusing folks on spending, because people think about half of the money they send to Washington in the form of taxes is wasted, and they're looking at this and saying, you can't keep the White House open for tours, but yet there's money wasted over here. There's this program that overlaps with that program. So I think it really has people focused on this spending. And why is the president doing this? Because he couldn't get the tax raises that he's wanted. And
I think we should probably explain that when people come to Washington, they go to their members of Congress, both sides of the aisle, and they get don't they get tickets to the White House, or free tickets? But
we make arrangements because there's only so many opportunities per day. Now there are no opportunities, but the Capitol is still open. Our office buildings are still open, so the pastor that you just talked to, and for anybody around the country who wants to come to Washington, they are absolutely welcome in the Capitol.
Will they get a special tour, and his kids get a special tour? As best you can?
We'll make sure that it is an unforgettable, once-in-a-lifetime experience for them.
What we're learning is it's about $74,000 a week is really what the cost is of the Secret Service, for instance, to have these tours. And then you look at these numbers, and you mentioned the waste, the fraud and waste. The GSA conference that they have in Vegas that we always talk about here with the guy in the bathtub with the two unmatching wine glasses, as I always know, that was about $800,000 or so. I mean, that's 10 weeks. I mean, if they had just used a good sense there, we could keep the White House tours open for 10 weeks.
Well, the thing that's so distressing, Greta, to so many people is when they look at the amount, the cost of that, and they look at how other money is being spent, they just say, this is absolutely ridiculous. And the president should try to make any of these cuts really minimize the impact. Instead, it seems like he's trying to maximize the pain and the fear of the sequester. And you see it with the TSA. They just had $50 million for new uniforms, and it was done the same day that the head of the Department of Transportation was saying, well, you're going to have to wait in line longer and 90-minute delays for flights. The same day they spend $50 million on uniforms.
You know, I don't mean to pick on the president. We want the president to travel around, see people around the country. That's an important part of being president. But we hear the number180,000 an hour to run Air Force One. You know, perhaps, you know, when they could choose their trips a little wiser, or try to be, I mean, even 1 hour on Air Force One keeps the tour line open for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I believe ultimately the White House has gone too far. They're going to have to reverse this because they know they made a mistake on this, I believe.
You think it was deliberate and political?
Well, I think it was very petty on the part of the White House because they want to show that the sequester has impacts on people. And I think, you know, you get a leader, they ought to try to minimize the impact on the American people so the public isn't bothered by these things. The American folks know that we as a nation spend too much money, and we need to get the spending under the control. So this is really focusing that discussion on all the wasteful spending.
You know, I think it's probably not thinking more than anything else. I mean, it's like some people think it's a political decision. It was done deliberately by the president. The president probably didn't make the decision at all. It was made by somebody else. And I suspect they thought, you know, what's an easy way to skim off some money to try to put it into another pocket to take care of Secret Service on overtime or something. But this one has really sort of, this was a case of people not thinking. I don't think it was a case of being nasty, do you?
Although over the last week, I mean, the reporters who look into this have found so many false statements by the Secretary of Education talking about all the pink slips for teachers. Never happened. The president in his press conference saying that all of these janitors, service people were going to their salaries were going to be cut. Not true at all. Meals on Wheels weren't going to be delivered. Not true. Look at the whole list.
I'm totally with you on that. I agree with you on that one. You've got me on that one. Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me.